Welcome to today's episode of the Matched Betting Chronicles. I think all matched bettors that have been doing it a while have made a few costly mistakes. And today I want to talk to you about one of mine that hurt quite a lot at the time, where I actually lost £80 trying to make a tenner. Now, people that don't do matched betting or, who hear about it, they're often skeptical and they think it can't possibly be risk-free, you can't be the bookies, etc. But it pretty much is risk-free, and one of the only ways to actually lose money is to back and lay the wrong thing, so the bet's not actually matched, or to forget to lay your back bet. Anyway, moving on. For those of you that don't know, Novibet has something called a weekly bet club, and if we look at their website here, we can see some information about the bet club, and it says place 10 or more bets of £10 across the week on odds of at least 1.7, and they're going to give you £10 in as a free bet on the following Monday. So you might think that sounds like a lot of work, 10 different bets. But it's actually quite easy normally, and I'll show you why. So they normally have quite a few of these each day. These are games under the super odds. And what that means is that the prices of these selections are high. Basically, they're good odds, and you can often back some of these at the same price as you can lay them on an exchange. So Crystal Palace versus West Ham is 3.55 to back the draw, and if you head over to Smarkets, and we can see, look, the draw is 3.55. So that means we can stick a tenner on the draw, or £20 or £30, whatever, on Novibet, and you can lay it for the same amount, and you're going to have zero qualifying loss. So you can actually, qualify for this free bet quite easily with sometimes zero qualifying loss, but other times very minimal, maybe like minus 20p down or something like that. Now, the only problem with Novibet is you can see there's just 2 games on the super odds, and that's the normal. Like each day they're only going to have like sometimes 1, it's normally 2, and if you're lucky 3, which means you're going to need to keep logging in sort of every other day to get enough bets on in the week, aren't you? It's going to take you at least 5 days to get 10 bets here. So you're going to run into a bit of trouble if you've started this offer and then you forget to log in. You've wasted your time basically. And I was thinking that I'm not a gambler, but if I was, I might well use Novibet, because you can see these are big games. Arsenal against Manchester City, Crystal Palace and West Ham. These are the sort of games that people would be betting on, I think. The big Premier League teams here. And you just saw for the draw price is actually better than the back price on the exchange. So I'd probably add Novibet to one of the best bookies to use for main games, if I was like a real punter, which I'm not. Anyway, normally I do my 10 bets on football really easily, but this must have been like the last week of the football season or something, and towards the back end of the week I was really struggling to find anything with back and lay odds that were close together. There was just none of these super odds. because the season was over. And I managed to get like 9 bets on, and I just needed one more to qualify for the free bet. But I couldn't find any good matches on the main events. And the problem is, Novibet, they're known to gub very quickly, so I didn't really want to be betting on any of the obscure, less known markets or leagues. So I was checking the odds matcher, and everything that I considered safe was like below 90%. So I'll just show you. Yeah, it was games like this, you know. This is like an 89.28% match. You know, the odds are far apart, 2.5 and 2.8. You know, and they're all things like this. So if I wanted to put my £10 on here, let's have a little look. I think that, yeah, here we go. So if I was to stake £10, I'd have to lay 8.93, and I'd be taking like a pound and 7 pence in qualifying loss. And I thought, you know, that's too much, because like I said earlier, I'm normally getting on games for 0 or like minus 20 pence. So I didn't want to take a pound qualifying loss. So I just thought I'll wait, and I kept logging into Novibet and this matcher and seeing if I could find anything, but I couldn't. And in the end, I thought, right, I'm going to widen the filter here. So what you can do is to click on the filter, and instead of match odds, I sort of did like correct score. So I had to check if there was anything. And surprising, there's nothing here today, but I actually found one on Egypt versus Jordan. It was a game like that. I might not have been right here, but it was something like that. And I do remember Egypt to win 1-0 were odds of 8. And on the exchange, it was like 8.2. So that's a low qualifying loss. So I backed Egypt to win at 1-0, laid it on the exchange, and that's job done. This offer was already getting to be more time than it was worth this week, so I was relieved. Anyway, the next day, I checked my exchange and I saw I'm 70 quid down here. So no worries, that's okay, because that means I've won 70 quid on Novibet, because I underlaid this bet. And I logged into Novibet on Monday to use my free bet, and I saw there's quite a bit of money missing here, and I'm panicking now, and I'm checking the settled bets, and I find out that I've lost the last bet. So in total, I've lost 70 quid on the exchange, and I've lost my 10 quid stake on Novibet. And I'm really in disbelief here. I've checked the score, and it was actually 1-0 to the other team. So yeah, I should have lost on Novibet, which I have, but I should have won 10 quid on the exchange. Well, not quite 10 quid, but you know, £9.78 or whatever it was. And I'm about to go on live chat and complain and say that, you know, you've settled the bet wrongly here, when I saw the error. And what I've done is I've backed 1-0 to Egypt on Novibet, and I've laid 1-0 to Jordan on the exchange. And unfortunately for me, it was 1-0 to Jordan, so I've lost. Any other scoreline, and I'd have got away with that. So if it was like 0-0 or 2-0, for example, I'd have lost on Novibet, but I'd have won on the exchange. And if it was 1-0 to Egypt, I'd have been laughing, because I'd have won my bet on Novibet and be 70 quid up, and I'd have won like 10 quid on the exchange. But instead, I'm 80 quid down. And normally this wouldn't happen to me, because I'd know if I'm laying the wrong thing, because the lay odds would be different to what they were supposed to be. And I can only assume that both 1-0 scorelines were similar prices to lay. And I was absolutely gutted, because just to try and win, well, not win, to get a 10 quid free bet, I'm now 80 quid down. I could have bet on a normal match and, taken the £1.10 qualifying loss. And this is a lesson for me, because next summer I'm not going to bother with these types of bet clubs, as they just get too hard to find normal games, and I'd spent too much time on this, which also hurts. It's also a massive lesson to check bets very closely if you're backing a correct score, because it's very easy to back the wrong team here. I was only a newbie when I did this, so to lose like this was sickening, and it's the kind of mistake where you do question carrying on with this kind of offers, But to be honest, you hear about people laying the wrong horse and losing hundreds of pounds, so my mistake here is like a drop in the ocean. And you really just got to take it on the chin and move on, because you can actually make a few hundred back very quickly with matched betting if variance goes your way. And I listened to another YouTuber called Arb Hunter and Pip Bets, and he's been doing it 20 years, and he's realized that these kind of mistakes, they do even themselves out. And I agree with him. I've found that they do. Every now and then I'll make a lucky mistake and win on both the bookies and the exchange, and sometimes it goes against you as well. They do seem to even themselves out. So my advice is to check your bets really carefully. You don't want to make a habit of this, but if it does happen to you, it's really not the end of the world. You just take it on the chin and know that you will make this back, probably faster than you think. Anyway, guys, I'd be really interested to hear in the comments what mistakes you've made during your match betting career. And thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one.